I need my little paper here. That's me. Yeah, good. So how does this work? There. Okay. I got this question, why do I care? Then, which I send you in, and I was thinking about, this is a picture of my of summer place I have, and it's an old picture. I'm sitting there with my little cousin on my lap, and I just love this place. And nowadays, you can't always swim there because of the algal bloom, so yeah, I care a lot. And I think it's very good with boundaries. I work at the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency at a unit called International Cooperation, and I'm the OECD coordinator. That means I prepare for the environmental committee meeting at EPOC, and I'm also in this working party that do the environmental performances. I also work in the new program we have together with UNDP. We're working with 4 countries, Mozambique, Mongolia, Colombia, and Kenya. Also try to work with our Palestinian counterpart, the Environmental Equality Authority. So, and how do, that was another question I got. How do these concepts then shape our work at the agency? And I had to think about that a little bit, and I think it is, it's a little bit too, well, the agency has this overarching goal. We have to reach the environmental quality objectives, and these are national. So they set our limits then in Sweden for what the Swedish nature can handle. But we have then come to realize that we cannot do this alone because we are influenced from other countries abroad. And then we need them to cooperate internationally. One example is our engagement in the Convention on Long-Range Transboundary Air Pollutants. I mean, the pollutants from other countries was falling down on Sweden, and it was various acidification then caused in Sweden. So we then try to influence other countries to stop pollute, because it influences us. And we have then lately, I would say, come to realize that we also influence other countries. Climate is then a very good example, especially our production and consumption. So in 2010, we then added to our 16 environmental goals a generational goal that says that the Swedish environmental problems shall be solved without increasing environmental problems outside Sweden's border. So you can say that we are shaped then from these goals, and we also shape them because we are also in all these processes that shapes the global sustainability goals. Then it's an iterative process, I would say. I'm also going to speak about these a little bit, Agenda 2030 and the 17 new Sustainable Development Goals. And like I said, Sweden has been part in shaping these goals. We are in this process. The agencies hasn't been directly involved, but I think indirectly we hand over a lot of information to the Ministry of Environment, for example. But right now, we are then analyzing the connection between our work and these goals. For example, we have, together with a lot of other agencies, then together we have written this note then, and it says, for example, that Swedish agencies have, through the decades, refined its expertise and administration, and today show one of the world's most efficient governments. and that this access, coupled with the civil society and business, could form the foundation for the implementation of Swedish aid policy. And I would explain this a little bit more with this picture. And this shows then the capacities that we have in administration that we can contribute to. So it's, of course, we have the technical knowledge at the environmental agency in various environmental issues then. And if you connect this with the social development, sustainability development goals, you can say that number 11, regarding sustainable cities, we already work with that. Number 12, sustainable consumption, we also work with. And of course, number 13, climate change, and 15, biodiversity. But we also have a lot of capacity that is raised under goal 17 then on capacity. Because our action must always stem from the constitutionally based principles of equal value of all people, the rule of law, good services to citizens, and so on. And since we have such a long experience in this field, well, the agency is the oldest environmental agency in the world. We have good capacities also in planning, cooperation, communication. And I think then that we can contribute to other countries with this knowledge. I think Vivi mentioned that we commissioned a report to the Stockholm Environment Institute. And this was 3 years ago, so I thought that's kind of, well, you don't know how fast we work here, but I haven't heard anything about it since then. I haven't looked either, I would say, but I will. So it's very interesting to be here and discuss that this day. But anyway. So regarding the planetary boundaries, I love the concept, and I think we need boundaries and the interlinkages and to see this in a holistic way. But we at the agency also need a way to measure our generational goal, and we would like to be able to compare countries' environmental performance. One reason is to prioritize who we should cooperate with. So we commissioned then this report on national environmental performance on planetary boundaries. And this was a first attempt then to downscale the planetary boundaries framework to the level of a country. And one of the objectives, it was several objectives in the report, and one of them was to study whether this planetary boundary framework could be used to assess the generational goals. And some of the results then, it compared the planetary boundaries to Sweden's environmental objectives and found a strong correlation. The authors proposed different indicators to translate the global planetary boundaries into per capita boundaries. So you can compare them performance among countries. This was more difficult. It uses consumption-based indicators to capture the impact of the Swedish economy beyond its borders. That I know you work a lot with other projects. And then did an analysis where the planetary boundaries are matched with existing multilateral environmental agreements, which they did, except for the ocean acidification. It's not in there. So here's then examples from the report. This picture, and there you see the planetary boundaries on the left and the Swedish environmental objectives on the right. And the arrows then are shows the interlinkages between those. And there I have another example from the report. There was a lot of these graphs, and then and it's very illustrative. I think you have the green area, that's the boundary, and all the countries then that you would like to, I think Sweden is, it's it's way over with consumption and over with production also. Emissions of CO2 emissions then. But it's an interesting picture, I think. My last slide here. Some thoughts then, concluding remarks. That I believe planetary boundaries, and I believe, I mean, like the donut, I love to hear your your presentations always, Kate. I wonder why I'm an economist, maybe that's why I like it, or why don't everyone just take this as a base? So, but we need the boundaries, and I think that that can strengthen environmental work on regional and national levels in different ways also. You can, for example, realize that an issue has been overlooked and that they are interlinked, the environmental problems. But the report shows that downscaling is difficult. But it would really be of help if we could go further on this. And I think also now with the Agenda 2030, I mean, you need to follow up these goals nationally. And they now develop the indicators. And here it could be useful then. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to be here today and to discuss these questions further. Thanks.